So hi everyone, and great afternoon. So UST Global is one of the most active partners of 365X and Sarona, already in discussion with 3 of the 365X companies. And UST Global is a leader of digital marketing, serving key enterprises around the world, including some of the most successful Fortune 500 list. And we have with us today Krishna Sudheendra, which is the CEO of UST Global. And he has joined us today for a masterclass, gathering you as our community and sharing with you his insights about innovation at Fortune 500 companies. And I think that for you guys, it means how does your startup can actually fit in there? How can you play a role in this transformation? So please welcome our partner, Mr. Krishna Sudheendra.
Thank you very much, Truth, for that kind introduction. I'm just a simple person. So more importantly, it's my honor and privilege to be addressing the 365X, CEOs and many startups, because I firmly believe that startups are the future of the digital transformation that we are going to go through as an industry. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, Krishna, we can hear you well.
Thank you. So, as Toot rightly talked about, UST is privileged to work with over 120 Fortune 500 Global 1000 companies, engage with over 400 startups across the globe, and we have about over 30,000 people who are serving us in 26 countries across the globe. So we are a company that believes in nurturing and believes in the ecosystem and nurturing the ecosystem. For us, ecosystem includes partners, includes startups, includes universities, where we bring the innovation, where we scale that innovation to solve some of the problems of the Fortune 500 Global 1000 customers across the globe. Because we believe that you cannot do things alone. And internet has taught us that sharing and shared knowledge and shared work product really is going to solve the problems of the industry as we go forward. In the last 6 months, I think humanity has faced some unprecedented challenges. Many of our assumptions have been shattered, our beliefs have been questioned and challenged by a very small virus. I think all of us are wondering, what is happen? What does the future look like? So today I'm going to focus a lot more on what does this pandemic means to us? I mean, if we look 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line, what happens, especially as CEOs and as senior leaders in many of these startups, where you have a team to follow. I'm sure you have a lot more insights, but I'll share my perspectives from what I see and what I hear from the industry and from some of the experts that I've heard. So let's keep it interactive. So please post your questions. Would be happy to answer at the end as Toot is going to be moderating. I think one thing I can confidently tell all of you is humanity has always faced massive disruptions and emerged absolutely resilient through these disruptions. Because I think, I personally believe that when you look at a word change, in itself, I mean, you just change one letter. You change the letter G with letter C, change becomes chance, which is a huge opportunity. I mean, if you look at it from that mindset, it opens up tremendous amount of opportunity for us as an industry. And I believe this pandemic has been a silver lining from that standpoint for the tech industry. When this whole pandemic hit, I mean, any pandemic has 3 phases. The first phase is respond. I think everyone quickly responded working from home, scrambling, their e-commerce channels, and how to reach the customer, how to still make the deliveries, how to keep the inventory, how to ensure that you have adequate inventory to service your customers, how to help the patients, how to help in the healthcare industry, and so on. I mean, even education. How do you get kids to go to school, or work, attend school remotely? I think this whole thing was the respond. I mean, everyone, I think, reacted very well. Again, resilience of humanity. But one thing underlying there is technology became the enabler in the first phase of respond. If you look at the second phase is recover. I believe that phase is going to be 12 to 18 months from where we started. In this recover phase, I think every company is looking at how can we take cost out? How do we keep our employees motivated? How do we ensure that our customers are still satisfied? How do we ensure that there is no lack of service, no lack of inventory to service our customers? How do we restart our business, and so on? So that's the recover phase. Again, if you look at it, the underlying theme is technology. Technology is really enabling this. Now, if you look at the third phase, which is the most important phase, which is renew. How do businesses renew and look at a new normal? I was listening to Gartner. Gartner studied and said that the businesses are going to fundamentally change in the next 5 years. Business models are going to change. Everything driven by technology. Technology is going to be a key disruptor and a key enabler for businesses to reinvent themselves, because the businesses of today will be nothing like what's going to be 5 years from now. So that's the renew phase. That's the new normal which is going to get created. And we've already seen how work from home has become a new normal. We've already seen, earlier Agile and DevOps, they said, people need to be together in a room, working together, but that myth is busted. People working remotely across the globe can brilliantly execute a DevOps Agile projects without any problem. So the new renew is going to be the new normal, which is going to emerge. It's going to change the way healthcare industry is going to operate. Healthcare used to be very focused. They started adopting technology, pushing things on the cloud, but all of a sudden they need to do remote monitoring. They need to ensure that how can they fulfill pharmacy requests remotely? How can they tend to patients remotely given the pandemic and things like that? Education has changed. Retail has changed. Banking has changed. Everything is, and it's going to change even further. In fact, Gartner did a study and interviewed about 1,000 boards of the Fortune 500 Global 1,000 companies. And the result was 69% of the boards believed that digital is going to be the way forward, and they are going to double down their investments in digital. And technology is going to change the way businesses are going to look at. In fact, they also did a study where they said that 50% of the companies or 50% of the boards are going to look at cost takeouts. They're going to reimagine their cost, reimagine their business, reimagine their gross margin, their net margins using technology. So that's the kind of enablement that technology is going to do. The businesses are going to change quite dramatically as we go next 5 years from now. And every one of them believe that digital is the tipping point for every business. Technology is a tipping point for every business. The chief digital officer, the chief technology officer are going to assume pivotal positions, right next to the CEO, helping the strategy. In fact, the companies that we work with, they said they want to be a technology company. They might be in retail, they might be in healthcare. They all want to be technology companies. And everyone is looking at an extensive industry transformation. It's not just a business transformation, it's an industry transformation. New models are going to emerge, new businesses are going to emerge, new business models are going to emerge. So there is massive opportunity to reinvent business. So what does it mean to all of us? What does it mean to companies like us, companies like you, And how do we work in this, and what is the new realm? Again, based on what we are hearing from our customer, I mean, there is going to be massive focus on business outcomes. How do you bring in technology to solve business problems? How do you bring in technology to open new channels for customers? How do you bring in technology to create new customers, to create new business lines for customers? Regardless of what technology it is, I think the businesses are going to be more focused on how are you enabling my business? So I think from all our perspective, we need to be thinking as to how we are, it's not about the technology, it's about how you apply technology to solve critical business problems, help our customers improve their revenue, help our customers maximize their margins, help our customers keep their employees happy, keep their customers happy. And I think the other important thing that's emerging is how do you create a resilient technology architecture? As we speak, I mean, I'll give you the example of Amazon. Why is Amazon so successful? Amazon does 300 releases a second. I mean, this is something that I've heard directly from Amazon. 300 releases a second. That's how robust their technology architecture is. It's fully democratized. Any team, any agile team sitting anywhere in the world can make these releases. So these are concurrent releases on the system happening concurrently across the globe. So the beauty of it is it's democratized, innovation is democratized, technology is democratized, but there is an underlying resilient architecture which enables many of these things to happen. Then there is the third important element, a result out of this is the democratized innovation, which is the fantastic opportunity for all of us and all of you. Companies are no longer looking at doing it themselves. It's not about few good minds sitting in corporate trying to reinvent a business. It's about how do you create a shared environment where there is shared and democratized innovation. Innovation can come from a startup, innovation can come from university, innovation can come from a partner, anywhere. How do you assemble that innovation? How do you scale it? How do you grow it? So leveraging innovation that's going to happen. And this is a massive, unique opportunity that's available for all of us to see how we work together, how we partner. And again, the focus should be to solve that business problem for the customer. And the focus is on speed to market. How do you create technology, proof of concept, plug and play models to enable speed to market for your customer? And the customers are going to embrace this as we go. The other dimension of this, the fourth dimension of this, is the new economic models that are going to arise. I mean, I was talking to a big fleet operator who is one of our distant customers. So they were saying earlier their business model was, they were providing fleets on a monthly basis, on a retainer, and so on and so forth. And today they are changing their entire business model to as a service. So they are being measured on uptime of fleets. So they are not only selling the trucks and the fleets, now they are managing the uptime, they are taking care of the maintenance, it's remote monitoring, they have put a bunch of IoT devices to manage the whole thing. So it's really, businesses are looking at new business models and new dimensions as we go through. And the other important aspect of this whole transformation is it's no longer 18-month, 24-month, large long-term projects. It's about short sprints, a number of short sprints. Of course, you have underlying architecture, but it's a number of short sprints, componentized models, Lego blocks where you can assemble. It could be from one startup, we get a Lego block, which can be input. There's another component from an SI like UST. Bring it all together, and how do you really get a product or a platform or a solution up and running for the customer in a matter of time, so that it can be speed to market, getting to the customer. I think that's going to be very, very important. And that's the other dimension that's emerging. The next dimension or theme is autonomous structure. Earlier, it was, I think when the whole industrial revolution happened, it was all about how you have a hierarchical structure. I think internet and the whole digital revolution has busted that myth. It's not about monolithic structures. It's about how do you create autonomous structures. It's team-based structures, team-oriented structures, where you quickly put an agile team together and get things moving. Same thing, I mean, it's multiple companies, multiple partners, multiple ecosystem partners working together and quickly putting up a solution which is shared composite thinking, which is shared knowledge, everything coming together to solve the problem. And the last dimension of all of this is, as I said, technology is driving a lot of these changes. So there's going to be massive talent shortage. And when these large corporations have talent shortage, where do they look? They look for companies like us, companies like all of you, to provide them the solution, not the people, but provide them the solution at scale, provide them the solution at speed, being agile and nimble for them to be able to solve their problems. So if I have to summarize 5 key or 6 key themes that are emerging, focus on business outcome, not the technology, it's the business outcome that matters. Having a robust technology or resilient technology architecture, but with a lot of plug and play and componentized. Democratized innovation, leveraging innovation across the ecosystem. New economic or business models that are emerging, and how do you tackle that using technology, or technology itself is creating new economic models. Short sprints rather than big long-term projects, where you can bring in a lot more plug and play, more open source, more componentized things to bear. And lastly, autonomous structure, modularity, composable thinking, and shared development of products or solutions is going to be the key. And the last one that I highlighted is how do companies address the talent shortage by companies like you and us, who can bring this together for them.